Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program 2, Exploration Mode. I think I'm going to call it that from now on, since I have that as the titles, but in the last episode, we went into orbit. Not only did we go to orbit, but we also escaped Kerbin's atmosphere as well. But in this episode, we are going to do Mun or Bust, which means that we have to visit our nearest neighbor, the Mun. Establish an orbit around the Mun with an apoapsis less than 2,400 kilometers and a periapsis greater than 60 kilometers. So let's get to our mission brief here. Hello, Director. I'm wide awake and in rare form today. Why? Yesterday I slept for the first time in a few days. Who knew a caffeine crash would provide such restful sleep? Anyway, I brewed some fresh pots for everyone in Mission Control so we can cut down on all that unnecessary blinking. With your help, we're going to pull off our very first Mun flyby. Got a minute? Poke around the mission tracker. Carefully though. Then come on back and submit your report. Good luck, Director. Entering orbit around Kerbin is one thing, but being captured by gravitational SOI, sphere of influence, of another celestial body can be tricky. Use all your tools. You want to make sure your rocket has enough fuel? Pop open the trip planner in the VAB. Stuck on your Mun intercept? A well-placed maneuver plan can make a world of a difference. Set up a vessel with a probe core and an antenna with a minimum range of 86 GM around Joule. Oh. I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think that's supposed to be for a later mission. Director, I'm suppressing my excitement so hard it's making me shake. Good luck. Yeah, I don't know why she's mentioning Joule, but let's go into the VAB. And if we want to go to pretty much a one-way trip to the Mun, this is essentially what we have to do. And we're not going to go to the surface, so we don't even have to consider this. So Mun, low orbit, so pretty much 4,000 something delta V. So, and we're going to do a manned mission of this to go around the Mun in orbit. And since we're not doing a lander, we could just, something pretty simple that's going to get us at least in orbit around the Mun, but not, we need to get close enough for the mission to complete, but nothing too crazy. So before I do that, I want to grab, if I can find it, science. So the Science Junior, then a heat shield, and then as well as the decoupler to go along with that. Now, we need the parachute, but I'm also going to put some smaller parachutes on the side, and we also need communications. So I'm just going to put this communication one, the RA-2, which I'll just go ahead and place right there. That's good to go. All right, and then we can place down our fuel tank here. And then we'll use the Terrier engine since we're going to be using this a lot in a vacuum. And then we'll go to the next stage. Now I'm thinking of separating these into stages where this stage here gets us to orbit and back. We need a stage that can get us to the Mun as fast as possible. So I'm probably going to do another small stage here with another Terrier engine. Just like that. And we can see our delta V here. It's 0.74, which means not that much, but when we're in a vacuum, it should be fine. And then we're going to put another stack decoupler. And we're going to just make a bigger case here for a bigger final stage right here, including the radial decouplers too. And we don't have fuel lines yet, so there's a method that I would like to try to do, but we're probably not going to get around to that until we actually get the fuel lines that we can put down. So I don't know what is this doing. There we go. I was being a little silly there for a second. I did not understand that at all. Hmm. Oh, I think I know. Okay. It was being silly because it's not lined up properly. There we go. And then I'll put another set down here. And we'll place those down. Just like that. Now we have more than enough. More than enough to get to the mun. And back. Just to make sure this... Let's see. This stage actually seems to have more thrust rate ratio than this. That's a bit interesting. Now, what if I replaced it with the Reliant? Because it uses more power. Yep, okay. But the fuel that it uses is not as efficient, but I think we'll be fine with that. One of the last things I forgot to do was we're gonna put a fairing here just to protect us, or really not us, but protect our Kerbals from possibly perishing, from maybe going too fast. We'll see. I don't think we're gonna go that fast. We're gonna do just fine, I think. There we go. That looks good. All right. This thing looks good to go, I think. And I'm just gonna put this right there for that decouple part, that decouple portion. And obviously we want to use some strut connectors for these bottom pieces because otherwise these might wobble if we're not too careful. So just like that. And our clamps here to ensure that we are stabilized and we have kind of a higher position as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this around so it's facing more like this instead, because I want kind of like the tilt to be this way where all these are facing this direction over here. All right, so I think we're good. So let's go ahead and launch our vessel, shall we? And it looks just like this. So I want to make sure that I'm facing the correct direction because it's facing differently here. And Bill's going to be a part of this as well. So good luck, Bill. You're going to need it. All right, let's do it. Oh, I did not put, okay. Okay, so I changed a couple things here. What I did was I added a smaller fuel tank here because it seems like we have plenty still, so yeah, this is fine. And instead of using the Reliant, because I totally forgot, it doesn't have gimbal, so I replaced it with the swivel. So we'll be better now. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Lift off. Alright, so we are doing... Okay, we're gonna have to start turning, kind of leaning to the side. Also, it seems like that the prograde node is not centered in the line, but we're good. So you can see why I wanted to face that certain direction because of this very reason here. Just better suited this way. I could also have oriented the fuel tanks a different way as well, but I think we're fine. All right. Did this decouple? Those, that did not get decouple. Decouple that one. Decouple this one. There we go. Alright. We're being a little sloppy here for a second, but I think we're okay. We're doing alright. Alright. But even in this regard, like I think we're doing fine. We're still doing okay. Yep, we should have plenty of fuel left. There we go. Okay, so we finished that mission, which is pretty cool. Crew observation, we got no signs from that either. Alright, so I don't think this stage is going to get us into what I was thinking we were going to get into, which was orbit around, or at least to the Mun. But we're okay. This should be efficient enough for us to get there anyway. I have high hopes. I definitely have high hopes. Alright, so I got myself into orbit. And I took an... So I just finished another contract as well by doing a spacewalk in orbit of Kerbin. But unfortunately, I don't think we're actually going to do that well in terms of this mission, just because, I mean, even though we got into orbit, I don't think we have enough to actually get into the sphere of influence of Kerbin, or not Kerbin, to go to the Mun, get captured by the Mun, and then do the burn and then come back. But who knows? We might actually have enough. We might actually have enough. We'll see. We will have to see. But a good indication on how to burn to I want to say Kerbin. We're already at Kerbin. To the Mun is if we actually look at the Mun right here. So as we're going around here, if we see the Mun on the horizon here, then what we can do is start burning where our apoapsis is going to start pointing this way. And pretty much you just want to go ahead of it so that way it comes to you as you are moving towards it as well. So we're going to want to burn all the way until we actually reach the point where we're meeting our target, which is the Mun. We could also use a maneuver node as well, but for the Mun, it's actually a very simple way to know when to burn and just wait until you are able to reach all the way up there. So, and we're going faster and faster as we continue to burn. We're about to reach 3,000 meters per second. So 3 kilometers a second, pretty much. And you can see that our fuel is running kind of low, but I think we're doing okay. So I'm going to slow us down a little bit as we're gaining more and more speed, but there we go. Look at that. So if we look at our tracker here, so we want an apoapsis less than 2,400 kilometers and a periapsis greater than 60 kilometers. So this periapsis is greater than 60, so greater than 60,000 meters. But what we can do is just bring it in just a little bit more, just like that. So that way it takes a little less burning to get into the orbit around the Mun. So that's what we're going to do. And the good news now is that we don't really have to do much at this point. We just have to wait. But we can speed up time to actually get to the Mun. And unfortunately, one unfortunate thing is that as I was burning up into the atmosphere, which I did cut out because it was just burning for quite some time, an extended period of time because of how slow the vessel moves with this kind of engine, especially with the way that I had it tilted. It wasn't really working that well, but I think we actually got it to work. The communication part of this mission is gone, so I think we'll be okay even without it. That's what I'm assuming. So yeah, but we're just gonna go and fly out, and we're just gonna wait till we meet up with the Mun here, which is right over here. And as you can see, we're moving towards it, and it's coming towards us as well. We're in its line of sight, and eventually we'll get close enough for us to get into its influence, sphere of influence, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice little screenshot here. Let me see. Yeah, we'll take a nice little screenshot of this, because this will be the thumbnail, I believe. Uh-oh. I did not mean to do that. That is okay. That is fine. I just turn back around and fix that. Oops-a-daisy. I was doing Windows Shift S, and yeah, I didn't like that, so. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so we're gonna speed up time. And eventually, there we are. I can't see where the Mun is. Oh, there it is. And there's the Mun. So now what we can do is we can do more science here, as you can see. So we got 50 science there. We can also run a crew observation, which this one is you get detailed measurements of the environment. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. Now, I don't know if we can get anything if we are just running a crew observation out here. Nope. But it doesn't hurt to try. So what we want to do now is actually wait until we get to the, or at least close enough to the periapsis, and then we'll burn retrograde. So we need to slow ourselves down in order for us to get into that orbit. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of a curve, so it won't actually take too long to do that. And I'm just going to speed up time out here on this map. And the orbital map is a good way to show your trajectory, a good way to do maneuver nodes. So let me show off the maneuver nodes. So let me click this line here, and we can create a maneuver plan. And so I'll just explain it simply. So I can click on this, and I can pull on these nodes here, and it'll give me the required delta V for me to burn through this until we get into a certain orbit or a certain distance, anything like that. And we can adjust this as well to different things. So like we have the normal, anti-normal, and then we also have prograde, which extends it. We also have the radial and anti-radial, which is for like literally moving the direction of where our orbit is facing. It has more of an effect when we're in interstellar orbit, when we're around Kerbol. But you'll see more of those maneuver nodes in later missions that we're going to do, such as Duna. So, all right. But we are on our approach to the Mun now. And since we're this close to it, as you can see, we're this close to the Mun, we're going to start burning. And we're going to look at the map view, the map here, and I'm just going to burn until, there we go. So, we are in orbit around the Mun now, and we finished the mission, which is awesome. So, we finished Mun or Bust. I mean, and that was pretty simple. And we do have plenty of fuel to get back, so we built a vessel that was able to last this mission, thankfully. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to have to go back to Kerbin. And we can take a good long look of, you know, the Mun right here as we pass by it before we go to until we go to the outskirts of the Mun. And eventually we're going to be landing on this body, which I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, we're eventually going to be landing on this body, and it's going to be very, very fun. That's going to be probably one of the funnest missions to do. And one of the other ones is when we actually go interstellar and we go to Duna or Jewel or what have you. And apparently Jewel has a surface in this game, which is very interesting. So I definitely would love to do a Jewel landing mission. And I don't know about escaping it, but we'll see about that. But that's going to be like way, way, way down the line. All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually wait until we are in a position where we are able to burn opposite of the direction that the Mun is orbiting Kerbin. Only because we want to burn in the direction which, as it's orbiting, our apoapsis is about to line up with that, but I think currently we're fine right here. Because what'll happen is our periapsis will decrease as we get into the, until we get to the orbital capture of Kerbin. So you'll see as we start burning, and we need to burn prograde, not retrograde. So there we go. And as you can see, the periapsis to Kerbin is decreasing ever so slowly. More and more and more. And I could bring up the speed a little bit more just because we do have plenty of fuel left, and I could just keep doing this until we actually reach a point where we can just fall right into Kerbin's atmosphere, which is below 70,000 meters. So something like 50,000, maybe lower than that. But I'm actually going to use this fuel, the rest of this fuel, to bring down the apoapsis from Kerbin. But we're going to be leaving the Mun, so say goodbye to the Mun. We'll be coming back to it very soon. I promise. Very, very, very soon. Goodbye, Mun. It was nice seeing you. Goodbye. All right, so I'm going to speed up a little bit faster until we get out of the Mun, and we're back. We're back to Kerbin. And we're going to slowly, well, really fast, but slowly make our way down to Kerbin's atmosphere. And I want to be able to turn retrograde before actually getting into its atmosphere, because that's just going to be a disaster if I don't do that. So, all right, and we are in the atmosphere now. All right, I'm going to start just burning. And as you can see, we're bringing down the apoapsis. And I'm just going to use all of the fuel left. All of it. To slow us down even further so there's not as much burning in the atmosphere. And I don't want to waste the fuel, you know? I don't want to waste it. But there we go. So we're going to decouple. And we're just going to wait. Alright, yeah, alright, we did that just in case. Just checking. But I'm going to go ahead and speed up time. We're going to be landing when it's nighttime on this side of Kerbin. So it's going to be quite dark. So I apologize for how dark it is, or how dark it will be. But this will be the beacon for you to see as we descend. Yeah, this is really cool. And we're going to be, for how low we are in the atmosphere, it should slow us down significantly. I say should, so hopefully it does. Otherwise, we're probably going to have to do a couple orbits, potentially, because our apoapsis is still above 300,000 meters, but it only will take like 2 trips, possibly. Yeah, that's what it's seeming. That's what it's looking like, is 3 trips. Or 1 trip, excuse me. 1 trip around Kerbin. I said 3 trips because I'm thinking of the 300,000. Yeah, that's not too bad. And I'm kind of bummed that we can't go any faster than 3 if we're a certain distance from Kerbin. Like, we have to be pretty far away in order for us to get higher than 3. Because this is what? 4 times speed, technically? Yeah, that's 2 times, 4 times, 10, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million. And that's 10 million, which that's for probably the interstellar stuff. There we go. All right, go back around one more time. And there we go. Now we should be able to go back down. We should be able to go down to Kerbin's surface. And we're actually going to be on the day side this time, which is not bad. Not too shabby. So it's inevitable. Or never mind. Or we might be where it's morning or where it's going to be nighttime. We'll see. Yep, but the apoapsis here is decreasing even further, and we are even going into the atmosphere a little bit closer than before. But this should be the one where we're actually going all the way down. Yeah, because this is slowing down significantly. Oh yeah. So we're going to be a big ball of fire coming in. Big old ball of fire. And that's why we need a heat shield, because if we didn't have it, then this will... The Science Junior will explode, and so will the pod. Possibly. The pod is made to take on a lot of heat, but if we go too fast going in, and if we're too deep in the atmosphere, it can definitely be too hot for us to actually survive that. So, you know. But there we go. Look at that. And the parachutes have been deployed. And I'm just going to keep the time sped up some more. And this looks like the desert, like kind of... Are we going to land in a desert splotch? Because that would be pretty cool if we do. Because I could probably take a surface sample of the sand. Because I don't think we've landed in the desert before, or at least any sandy areas. So this will be interesting. Right, and I did put the extra parachutes on because I do know that with how much weight the heat shield is, along with the Science Junior, it's going to be pretty heavy. I mean, without the satellite or without the dish, the communications, then you know, we became a little lighter technically. But here we are, and we landed, and it's recoverable. So I can run a science experiment here, which it only gives us 5, but that's fine. We'll run a crew observation as well. We get 4, and we're going to EVA because we want to make a crew observation of this, and we also want to take a surface survey because we want to gather some sand on our own planet, because I don't really know how much Kerbals have actually explored. Okay, we already got an experiment for this region, at least for this one. Even in a spacesuit, there is sand between my toes. How is that possible? Here we go. Samples consist primarily of quartz and small amounts of feldspar and kerbovite. I guess that's a element. All right. Well, the good news is that we can recover this vessel, and we can call it a mission. So let's recover this vessel, and we'll head back to mission control. All right, and we also completed these side missions. Nice, I have some good news and some less good news. The good news is that our environmental footprint is small. Our recycling is paying off. The less good news is that we found traces of radioactivity around the bathrooms. Either radioactive waste is getting flushed, or someone needs to see a doctor. We've had another talk with the R&D team about throwing things away in the correctly colored bin. In the meantime, they recommend limiting your hand washing time in the R&D laboratory to 10 seconds or less. Well, we did it! Thanks, science. And we finished this one, which was EVA while in Kerbin orbit. Excellent work! Strucco was very impressed by how easy it was to leave the safety of the vessel, so much so that they have canceled their EVA strut program. The company rep told us it would be a crime to inhibit such beautiful recklessness. Honestly, I think our demonstration made them question their career choices. I still think there's something to the idea of connecting the astronaut to their vehicle. I wish there was some other way to do it than with a rigid tube of aluminum. Oh well. And we did that one as well. But the main mission, which is visiting the Mun. Yay! You did it! You did it! As of this moment, we're leading the space race. Yes, ours is the only agency participating, but it's still an achievement. A swarm of reporters has been knocking down our doors. We're talking major press outlets. Space Weekly, the I have a hard time pronouncing it. The Kerbeler Times, the Kerbal Astronomical Society newsletter. Heck, even SAS Planet, Planet of SAS. Are you Kerbal? Because those reporters are revolving around you. So instead of having to answer them one by one, I just locked them in your office. Don't worry, Newton has found various flat snacks that can be slid under the door to them. Seems like they're making themselves comfortable in there, so no hurry. Meanwhile, we have more important work to do. Getting so near to another celestial body has only whet the agency's appetite for an up-close encounter. It's finally time to land on the Mun. When you're ready, Mission Control will be waiting with your next mission. Here we go. And we did it. But look at this. One small step. Time to prove the Mun is not made of spicy space cheese. Land on the surface of the Mun. So we're going to track these, and we have first dibs. Plant a flag within any mare on the Mun. And we also have this one too. Establish an orbit around Kerbin with an AP and PE each between 99 kilometers and 101 kilometers. So pretty much like a perfect circle, which I wouldn't mind setting up a communications satellite with that one. So we could probably do that next time. But let's go ahead and go into the R&D development, research and development, R&D building. And we're going to spend some science here. We have 517. So let's go ahead and buy the power launchers, which unlocks tier 2, which unlocks medium orbital launchers or rockets. And we don't really need them currently since, I mean, we have other things in the first tree to unlock, which some of these are reaction control systems, monopropellant engines. There's docking as well, struts. Actually, you know what? We'll unlock the medium orbital rockets because that's more interesting to me, I think. And we have 107 science left, so it's only fair to at least spend some of this, right? So we'll do light aviation, and we'll also do reaction control system because we do eventually want to complete this tree. But I think that is going to be it for this episode of Kerbal Space Program 2 Exploration Mode. In the next episode, we are going to go to the Mun, and we're going to land on it, finally. A big mission, so we're going to have to make an even bigger vessel with more Delta V, because not only do we have to go into orbit around the Mun, but we also have to land on it, get back in orbit, and come back to Kerbin. So, cross your fingers for that one, guys, but I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit subscribe as well, because that lets me know that you guys enjoy the content on the channel and would like to see more. I've been Savvy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. See you later.